Following on from Lesson 1 on the PBXww Virtual PBX, let's take a look at some additional features of this platform. We have the following scenario. Bob and Pete run a small business together. When a customer dials their business number, the call is passed to a voice menu, and we can listen to the voice menu message. So if the caller presses 1, then the call is forwarded to Bob's mobile phone. If the caller presses 2, then the call is forwarded to Pete's landline in his office. If Bob or Pete do not answer the incoming call, then the call is forwarded to the appropriate voicemail box, and Bob or Pete receive an email with the voice message. We can play Bob's voice message. Now Bob would like to be notified if he misses a call. To do this, we add a notification object, which is used to provide alerts via email or SMS when a specified event occurs. In order to configure this object, we enter a name for the notification, and then we select whether Bob should be notified via email or SMS. In this case, we choose SMS. We enter a phone number, and then we enter the SMS text. Two autofill fields, caller's number and called number, may be used so as to provide additional important notification details. Please note that there is an SMS charge equivalent to 2 minutes of call time to that destination. Now we cut the cable between Bob and his voicemail, reconnect the cables between the objects, and the updated PBX functionality is in place. It is important to note that once the cables have been connected between the various objects, the virtual PBX system is immediately active and ready to process voice calls. Another useful feature of the PBXww Virtual PBX is time routing. For example, Bob has now employed Mike, who will answer Bob's calls that are received outside of business hours and on weekends. To build the scenario, we use time routing, which allows incoming calls to be forwarded to different objects depending on user-defined day and time specifications. We configure the time routing object and provide the object name. We choose the relevant time zone so as to ensure proper time routing, and once we've done this, then we can create a time rule. It is important to note that time rules may be created for each day of the week, defining the stop and start times for which the incoming calls will be routed according to yes/no logic. In this case, we want all calls received between 8 AM and 5 PM, Monday to Thursday, to be forwarded to Bob. Otherwise, the calls should be forwarded to Mike. We need to add a person object representing Mike to the system. We enter a name, set the contact method for Mike's mobile, enter Mike's mobile number, and we also provide a unique name for this contact method. Now we connect the cables as required. Note the yes and no cables exiting from the time routing object. The yes option defines the routing of calls if a date-time match occurs, and a no option specifies the routing in the case of a failure in the date-time match. Additional time routing rules may be added as required by clicking on the plus sign and entering the date-time information. For example, if Bob also wishes to receive calls on Friday mornings from 8 AM to noon, we can add this time rule logic. Now if Bob wishes to record all calls that are routed to Mike, we can add a record object to the system. By using this object, call contents are sent to a predefined email address as an attachment after the termination of each call. We configure this object by giving it a name and then entering the email address to which the recorded conversation should be sent. We connect up the cables and the voice recording mechanism is immediately in place. Another useful object is the Playback object. Playback allows you to create a voice recording for later playback to callers, and this object also functions as a text-to-speech utility. First, we enter a unique name for the object, and now we can select either text-to-speech or audio message object options. For the audio message option, you can either create a voice recording for later playback, or you may upload an existing voice message. The text-to-speech option allows you to enter text that will be converted into speech. Firstly, select your required language out of over 40 current options, and then enter the text that must be converted to speech. Two autofill fields, caller's number and called number, may be used so as to provide additional important message details. Now we insert the playback object between the Timerouter and mic, and we reconnect the cabling. When a call is routed to mic, the caller is greeted by a voice message, after which the call is forwarded to mic. So now you have seen the power, functionality and flexibility of the PBXww Virtual PBX. We continue to add features to this platform, so please visit www.pbxww.com for updates and information.